Yo, what up, guys? We're back for another event, and this is a good one, man. We've been waiting for this main event for a long time. Brian Ortega versus Korean Zombie. So, just right before we start, make sure to put a comment down below who you're betting on, what you're betting on, and put a like down below as well, because that always helps grow the channel. But we're going to get right into it here with the first fight of the night. And in the fight, we got Ziam taking on Jamie Mullarkey. And Ziam, he's taken a year away from the sport. He had that loss in his UFC debut to Don Madge, but he was a big underdog in that fight, and he had a decent effort. It wasn't a blow-away for Madge, and he's a talented guy. He's only 23 years old, so should look a bit improved here. And he has a good frame for the division. He's tall, he has a long reach, and he's a pretty accomplished striker, a former Glory kickboxer. On the feet, he throws some nice combinations. Ziam, he likes to throw 1-2s or lead hook straight right hand combinations. He'll follow those with big liver shots, low kicks. He'll come forward with a hand combination, follow with a high kick. He's very fast, athletic, and when he goes, he's dangerous. He can wait a little bit, be a little bit flat-footed, and he stands a little bit tall. He doesn't really have the fastest footwork. He's also hard to hit. He's kind of dangerous to exchange with, so he's an interesting guy to fight. He's definitely dangerous inside with elbows. He has 5 knockouts with 4 with elbows, 1 head kick knockout, and he's never been finished by strikes, so he's definitely a pretty durable guy. And he's an active grappler in his fights previous to the UFC. He doesn't really control distance the best, so he ends up in the clinch a lot. Uses his length well there. He has good trips. He'll throw heat in the clinch, man. Nasty knees, big elbows. He'll throw some distraction punches and level change into doubles as well. And he does a good job of, when he gets backed up to the fence, he can clinch up, turn, get takedowns. But Don Madge was able to hold him against the cage for the majority of their fight and kind of just took him down a couple times, couldn't really control him, couldn't really do much, but won with the grappling because Ziam couldn't get his back off the cage. But on top, Ziam likes to take the back. He has good control. He doesn't really stick the rear naked chokes very well, but he will threaten with them. And he has strong takedown defense in the clinch, but not great when fighters shoot in on his legs, really. He isn't the best when he's taken down either. He will give his back, and he's been caught in a couple rear naked chokes before. He does have 4 submissions, and he has great cardio, so he will be able to continue to go in the later rounds. He has a lot of early finishes, but he's also shown the ability to grind in there. So his opponent, Jamie Mullarkey, he's also making a second start in the organization. He dropped a decision in a fight of the night performance against Brad Riddell. Mullarkey's striking, it looks fairly technical. He's definitely a good boxer. Good jab, good 1-2. He'll double up on the jab. He has a nice left hook, good left hook, straight right hand. He has a nice jab, right hook, and he'll dig to the body as well. Good low kicks. He'll throw a jab to a body kick or a head kick, so he'll mix it up. He has decent hand combinations. He doesn't really have the quickest feet, though, and due to that, fighters who are aggressive can get inside on him, and he's a little bit hittable. He backs up in straight lines. He does have a decent counter uppercut. He's willing to trade, and I would say his striking looks pretty good against Brad Riddell. He was able to rock Riddell, showed a lot of composure when he was hurt. Definitely has pop in his punches, and he's only been knocked out 1 time by Alexander Volkanovski. He took a lot of damage in that Riddell fight, showed he had a good chin, a lot of heart, good durability, and he's only lost that 1 time by TKO. For Mullarkey, he has 7 knockouts himself, and he's finished his last 3 wins by knockout, but he'll also look to mix it up a little bit. He isn't the worst wrestler, but isn't the best wrestler. Kind of got exposed a little bit with his grappling against Brad Riddell. When fighters pressure him, he does tend to shoot, and he has a decent double leg. He'll go for body locks, and he likes to shoot in, push fighters to the cage, and work from there. And against the cage, he will attack doubles. He will control you there. He'll get in on singles, so he can chain wrestle a little bit, but can be sloppy going for takedowns. And when he goes for the single, he can give his back, and he isn't really that technical with his grappling. But when Mullarkey gets top position, he has decent control. He stays tight. He'll posture from full guard and throw some big ground and pound, good elbows, good hammer fists. And, he will look to move to half guard, land short elbows, and his ground and pound in the half guard and control in the half guard is probably the best aspect of his ground game. He has good control there, and he works you over, gets you tired, and he doesn't really have the best finishing ability or control in when he tries to get into a dominant position like the back or the mount, but he can kind of finish off guys that are a little bit low level. He has 4 submissions. Off his back, he doesn't really look very good. In one of his losses, he was finished with ground and pound elbows. He does have a couple submissions, like I said, but more of a ground and pound guy. He's never been submitted, and he's finished all but one of his wins. So he's kind of a kill or be killed fighter. He's been finished in 2 of his 3 losses. Great cardio. And this is an interesting fight. I kind of went back and forth. Mullarkey needs to fight this fight a little differently to win here than he did in his debut against Riddell. I believe he has to pressure more. He can't stay on the outside and try to box. He needs to try to work doubles, try to hold Ziam against the cage. Ziam is going to be the more diverse, dangerous striker, a little bit faster, a little bit more explosive, a little bit bigger, just the better athlete in my opinion. He's going to be looking for takedowns too, and I think Ziam has a chance to get takedowns himself. Brad Riddell was able to reverse sweep Jamie Mullarkey, took him down a couple times, and Ziam to me has shown some decent takedowns on the regional scene. I think he is going to be able to use that to kind of stop the pressure of Mullarkey, even though Mullarkey isn't a big pressure fighter, and Mullarkey gets taken down in the clinch a lot. I think Ziam may be able to do a little bit better there and get the takedowns in the clinch, do a little bit more in the clinch than Mullarkey does, and I think a lot of the fight's going to be there. And I'm going to say he wins a close, fairly competitive decision here. So I'm going to go with Fares Ziam as the first underdog pick of the night. And this is the good one here. We got Said Nurmagomedov taking on Mark Striegl. And Mark enters here with a really good record. He's 18-2. This is going to be his UFC debut. His competition level, obviously, fighting on that Asian scene, that it's not really the best at times. So he's fought some questionable names, but he's defeated guys like Kai Kara France. This will be Striegel's first fight over there in the Middle East, so that's something that you have to look at here. And it's a weird time for Striegl to get signed as well. He hasn't fought since April of 2019. And when you look at that fight ended in a no contest due to a low blow. But Striegl is very, very experienced already, and he should be ready to go here. He's a grappler. He's won Combat Sambo World Championships, and he actually won the gold medal in the Combat Sambo Games in the 2019 Southeast Asian Games. His striking is not that good, though. I mean, super low volume. Doesn't really have the best defense. Kind of waits for an opportunity to shoot in on you or just throw a counter, then get in on the legs. He does throw some nice low calf kicks. He'll throw some 1-2s. He does have some nice elbows, but kind of a muscular, top-heavy guy, a little bit stiff as a striker. He can get countered. He's a little bit awkward at times, and not looking to finish you on the feet. He has no finishes by strikes. And when you look at his losses, they were both via submission, but they were he got hurt on the feet first and then submitted, because Mark Striegel's a pretty beast grappler, man. He has excellent timing on his level changes, good takedowns in the clinch. On top, he's a very aggressive passer, good submission guy. He likes side control. He'll get the crucifix. He'll look for arm locks. He has a good scarf hold, good arm bar, strong mount. When he gets the back, he's very dangerous there as well. Good rear naked chokes. He'll jump on guillotines. 14 submission wins, so he is a submission artist here. Like I said, he's been submitted in both of his losses, and he does kind of sometimes put himself in positions to get guillotine, but he has good submission defense overall. In his last loss, he got exhausted and got submitted with the rear naked choke, and that loss was to Reese McLaren, who is a brown belt world champion. I will say Striegel's cardio is a little bit questionable. He would definitely slow down a little bit, especially when he can't make it his style of fight. And Said Nurmagomedov, his opponent, he's actually coming off that loss to Raoni Barcelos, but very fun fight, back and forth fight, where he was kind of dominating on the feet, and Raoni Barcelos had a hard time taking him down, controlling him, but backpacked him a little bit, won a decision there. But Said, man, he's a good fighter, man. He's a flashy striker, strong wrestling base, good 1-2, quick jab, great counter left hook, really good rear uppercut. There's a lot of kicks, a lot of front kicks to the legs, to the body. He has a really nice question mark kick, really good rear leg head kick, and he likes to close the distance with a lot of straight punches to knees to the body. and he's good at switching stances, throwing a lot of kicks with both legs, spinning kicks. He landed a spinning heel kick, which hurt Ricardo Ramos to the body, and then he finished him off with ground and pound. So on the feet here in this fight, he's going to be the better striker here for sure. So he's going to have a big advantage in terms of just his fluidity and everything on the feet, just the diversity in his striking skill set. So he's going to want to keep it at range and try to outstrike this guy, knock him out. And he's also a strong wrestler. Good job of using his takedown to set up strikes. Like, he'll shoot in on a single, then come back up into a left hook. He'll also come back up into spinning attacks. But he has fast shots, good singles, good doubles. And on top, he has good control, but not really that great on top. I mean, he wasn't able to pass the guard to Justin Scoggins. He does have great cardio, though. He'll continue to pressure forward. And in his fight with Raoni Barcelos, I mean, he did show good takedown defense, but did get backpacked a little bit in that fight. And that's something that you have to be worried about here against a guy like Mark Striegl, because Streagle is a guy that's going to be in there just solely looking to grapple. But with Barcelos was threatening on the feet, and I feel like he's a little bit further advanced in just his full MMA game than Mark is. So I'm going to have to go with Said Nurmagomedov by decision. But at that line, I mean, I would just pass on the fight. I don't think it's warranted. I feel like Streagle definitely has a path to victory. We've seen Said struggle a little bit with grapplers in the past, so it's a pass for me, but the pick for me is going to be Said by decision. And up next here, we got a fight that I'm pretty confident in with Gadzhimurad Antigulov coming back. He's taking on Maxim Grishin. And, Maxim Grishin, he's returning to the octagon for the second time in his UFC career. He's looking for a different result here. He had that rough opening to his UFC career. He fought up a weight class. He fought a guy in the top 15 in Marcin Tybura. Didn't take much damage, but just got controlled against the cage, dominated, dropped a decision. And he is coming back down to 205, where he's running a 9-fight unbeaten streak. But isn't super impressed with me. He's just a kind of a low-volume counter-striker. He'll throw a lot of jabs, low kicks, and then look for these straight punch blitzes. But he does have big, heavy body kicks, big round kicks. Kind of a pot shotter, but he has 15 knockouts, so when he lands, he hits very hard. And he will look to mix it up in grapple. I mean, you'll hit some good body locks. He has some decent level changes. Good control against the cage. 6 submissions. And he has struggled a little bit with takedown defense against guys like Jordan Johnson. But good get-ups. And he showed some good improved takedown defense against Tybura, even though he did get controlled in the clinch. He's a small heavyweight, but for light heavyweight, he's a big light heavyweight. And he's going to have a size and speed advantage here, in my opinion, and a cardio advantage. So a lot of advantages here for Maxim Grishin. And when you're looking at Gadzhimurad Antigulov, dropped 3 consecutive fights. He's been finished in all 3 fights. Knocked out twice, and then he was submitted by Paul Craig in July. He's 33 years old, so he still has time to turn it around, but hasn't looked good. He hasn't won a fight in over 3 years. And man, I mean, we know what it is with Antigulov at this point. He's finished 17 of his 20 wins in the first round. He's been finished in the first round 5 times. So, 25 fights out of 27 have ended in the first round for Gadzhimurad Antigulov. He's 1-0 in decisions. So he's been to 1 decision in 27 fights. Don't really see this one going to decision. I mean, Antigulov's a guy that he has like a weird rhythm on the feet, and he is always looking for the takedowns, and his opponents have to respect his takedowns. Obviously, they're pretty good, so he can land some decent shots, like just kind of like faking a level change, coming with a big straight, big overhand thing. But he's always trying to land to get in on the legs. He does look like he hits fairly hard, but I don't see him getting a knockout on many guys, especially at UFC level. And he has a good single leg takedown, and when he gets on top, he's very aggressive. He looks to get the back at the rear naked choke. He has a really good guillotine, but slows down really quickly, and he showed a lot of deficiencies against Paul Craig. Really bad submission defense on that triangle, especially when a guy like Paul Craig, that's his specialty, man, to hit triangles, to hit things like that. And looking at this fight, I mean, Maxim has been submitted a couple times, but gotta go with Grishin here pretty confidently, man. I feel like he's the bigger guy. He's going to be able to deny the takedown attempts, get back up to his feet. He has a big reach advantage, so if he can keep him at the end of some shots, touch him a little bit, I don't feel like Antigulov has the best chin, best toughness or durability either. So as long as he doesn't get submitted in the first 2.5 minutes of the fight, he's going to win the fight. So I got to go with Grishin, probably inside the distance by TKO here. So my pick is going to be Maxim Grishin. And up next, we got Jun Yong Park taking on John Phillips. And Park got his first UFC win last time out. He was able to defeat Marc-Andre Barriault. It was kind of a back-and-forth decision, but Park kind of dominated pretty much. And he's had 2 fun fights in the UFC. He's a pretty good action fighter, slick boxer, good timing, fast hands. He slides in and out of range, good feints, and he works behind the jab well. Good 1-2, good jab, right hook, jab, overhand right. And he likes to throw a 1-2 to a left hook combination that's pretty money. He has power in his hands, and he hurts opponents with punches, but definitely more of a volume guy. He'll touch opponents a lot with combinations, then he'll dig with more powerful shots. He has a really nice counter hook, really nice uppercut, and he's very accurate with his punches, really fluid, doesn't really have a lot of wasted motion. He's also good at catching kicks, returning with punches, and he has some decent kicks himself, even though he doesn't throw them very much. Good body kicks, good head kicks. In close range, he'll throw some nasty elbows, some nasty knees. He can step or can be a little bit heavy on his lead leg, and sometimes he can get a little bit wild and trade, and he definitely needs to get away from that in this fight with John Phillips. Sometimes he doesn't move his head and he can be countered in the pocket, but he's very good at parrying punches, staying tight, blocking a lot of punches with his shoulders. And Anthony Hernandez had success when he walked him down and returned with that overhand right. And he rocked Park with some overhands, then eventually got him in an anaconda choke. But Park can strike going backwards, going forwards. Good cardio. He'll pick up the pace with combinations when he sees you slowing down. He flurries well when fighters are against the cage. And he has 4 knockouts. He's never been finished by strikes. And he's shown a great chin throughout his career. Ate some big shots, hasn't even backed up. And he's not a great grappler, but he showed some involvement in that aspect of his game in his last fight. He is heavy on his lead leg, so he sits down his punches, which makes it easy for guys to level change and take him down or clinch up with him. His takedown defense is a little bit questionable. Anthony Hernandez was able to take him down pretty easily with singles and doubles against the cage, but Park has a decent bottom game, decent get-ups against the fence. He can't expose his back to stand up, but in this fight, I don't think he's have to worry about that really. And offensively, he's good at using flurries to create openings for level changes, good double leg. When you try to get up, he will scramble, take your back, look for front chokes. He doesn't really have the best top control, but against John Phillips, will be smart to mix it up, wear on the gas tank, and just kind of show him that the takedown is going to be there, just like he did against Marc-Andre Barriault. And unfortunately for John Phillips, man, he was the first victim of Khamzat Chimaev in the UFC. Landed 2 strikes more than either of his other 2 opponents, but still was dominated, submitted in the second round. And Phillips has had not a lot of success in the UFC. He's 1-4. The only win he had was a 14-second win where his opponent gave him the exact fight he wanted. And looking at this matchup, we all know about John Phillips, man. He's the white Mike Tyson. He wants to come inside, land big hooks, big overhands, force a brawl, back you up, and just knock you out. And he's fairly technical in the pocket. And he has one-punch knockout power and a lot of durability, a lot of toughness. And looking at the matchup, I feel like the line's a little bit closer than... I feel like the matchup's a little bit closer than the line indicates. I do feel Park is going to have a big hand speed advantage. I think the jab is going to be a big issue, man. The jab is known to be the kryptonite for a power puncher, but it does only take 1 from Phillips, and Park can exit with his hands down at times. He slows down a little bit, and he can eat some overhands as the fight goes on. But in his last fight, Park was able to use wrestling to help counteract that forward pressure of Barriault, and I feel like Barriault has better grappling than John Phillips. That is the same game plan he needs to come with here. Move, use his jab, low kicks, break Phillips' rhythm, try to walk him into some big shots. And Park's shown a good chin. He's never been finished. Phillips is going to fight one way, man. Pressure, try to get you in a firefight, wing big shots to knock you out. If he lands and knocks Park out, it is what it is. And I'm not going to lay minus 250 to find out if that happens. But I do think Park should win here and be the pick here. Phillips is only getting older. He's never improved his overall game. And outside of a knockout, doesn't have another path to victory. But he is a tough guy. He's hard to put away. So I'm going to say Jun Yong Park comes out here, wins a decision, so give me Jun Yong Park here. And in this next fight here, we got Gillian Robertson taking on Poliana Botelho, and the appetite for violence of Gillian Robertson never ceases, man, as she's once again back in the octagon. Robertson, man, she's lived up to her nickname, the Savage, as she's been one of the most active and entertaining female fighters going. She's going to be fighting for the 8th time in the UFC in only 3 years. All 8 of those fights have ended inside the distance, win or lose, and Robertson has the most finishes in the women's flyweight division with 5. Her opponent, Poliana Botelho, this is going to be her second fight at flyweight. She's returning after a long time away from the octagon. The last time we saw her was April of 2019, so it's been nearly a year and a half. And when you're looking at this fight, we got the classic striker versus grappler matchup. Gillian Robertson, she's the specialist. She's someone that comes in there, a really good single leg, good timing on her body lock trips, decent double, and she wants to pressure. She has, her striking is below average, but she has decent boxing. She'll throw some kicks, gets inside, gets the takedowns, and she's a tough girl. I mean, a lot of people have this notion that they think she's like a quitter, a little bit weak, but I feel like she's not. I think that she definitely has toughness. She's willing to eat shots to get inside, and Poliana Botelho is the better striker. I mean, she's longer. She definitely has more pop in her punches, and she throws straighter, longer shots down the middle, but she's not a big puncher. She throws a lot more kicks, a lot of low kicks. She throws a lot of really heavy body kicks. That body kick is what's hurt multiple girls. It hurt Lauren Mueller. She finished Suri Kondo. So she'll throw front round kicks and round kicks to the body that definitely have power. Robertson has to be wary of those. But obviously when you're facing a grappler, man, I don't think that's a great game plan. And the other thing about Poliana, she's very heavy on her lead leg, and she kind of juts it out there so it's available for the single. She did show some improvement with that in her last fight. She kind of made her stance a little bit less wide, and she didn't have as much weight on that front lead leg. But gets a girl like Gillian Robertson, man, I mean, I just don't know if her style is really going to be that effective, because she's going to have to throw a lot of kicks and maybe just land a body kick and hurt her, because I don't think she has the hands to just keep Gillian off her with straight punches down the middle. I mean, I feel like Courtney Casey was a better boxer, just pure boxer with the hands than Poliana. I think that if Poliana comes out here and tries to kick and be active with the kicks, I think she's going to get taken down like she did against Calvillo. I feel like the single leg is the takedown that Gillian is really good at, and that's something that Poliana makes readily available in her fights. And when you look at Poliana Botelho on the ground, she's not really shown me anything that gives me much confidence. She was able to get a few takedowns on Lauren Murphy, who looks like, she's a low-level fighter in the division, but couldn't control Murphy on the ground, didn't really show anything good on top. And when she fought Cynthia Calvillo, she showed really bad submission defense. She really bad just ground game overall, and just tried to hastily get up, gave her back, got submitted. Gets Gillian Robertson, man. I mean, if she gets taken down, I don't really have confidence that she's going to be able to survive. Gillian just got her black belt. She's a really good grappler, 4 submissions in the division, another finish with ground and pound elbows. And Poliana Botelho, she's a blue belt. She's someone that we've already seen submitted before, and I kind of see the same fate happening, man. I mean, both these girls, it's kind of a weird thing. They both are finishers. Usually when you're talking about these women's fights, especially 115, 125, they're going to go to decision. But this one, I mean, I feel like it's going to end inside the distance, and I think that Gillian is just going to be able to implement her game and get takedowns. I think even against girls that were a little bit better strikers or more dangerous strikers like Mara Buena Silva, she was able to get takedowns to implement her type of game plan. I don't think Poliana is going to submit her off her back. I don't think she's going to be able to implement the same game plan of Macy Barber. I don't think she's just going to be that physical, man. So I think Gillian's going to be able to do her thing, get the takedowns, get the finish, and give me Gillian Robertson first round rear naked choke. And here's another good one. We got the debut of Mateusz Gamrot, who's 17-0, big time prospect, and another guy in Guram Kutateladze, who's a lead training partner for Khamzat Chimaev. But Mateusz Gamrot, he's 17-0. He's the longtime KSW champion. He's defended his title a plethora of times. And he's a cerebral, well-rounded fighter. On the feet, he likes to box. He has a decent hand combinations. He has a good jab. He'll double, triple up on the jab. Nice 1-2. He'll throw some jab, uppercut combos. He'll attack the body. He's economical with his output, but he's technical. He's accurate. Doesn't kick a lot, but he does have a tricky high kick, and he can fight from both stances. It doesn't look like he has big knockout power, but his shots do seem to mark up the faces of his opponents. Defensively, he has good distance control, good defense, but I question it a little bit. He doesn't really look like the most athletic guy. He has kind of a little bit choppy footwork and hasn't faced a lot of strikers. Mateusz has 5 KO TKOs, but a lot of those are doctor stoppages, man. I mean, it's weird. He doesn't look like he has a lot of power, but he definitely busts up the face of his opponent, really marks him up. And he kind of reminds me of a low-budget Colby Covington. He's a strong grappler, and he throws a lot of peppering strikes. He could switch stances. Not as high volume and doesn't have the same cardio, but similar. He has a good single, he has good timing, and on top he's kind of a blanket, good control, methodical passing, heavy top pressure. He stays on top, grinds away, and he has a really good gas tank. He can go 5 rounds hard. He isn't really a big finisher. He isn't super dangerous, even on top, but he has 4 submissions. He's finished 8 of his wins, and he's 9-0 in decisions. His takedown defense is very good. He has good get-ups. He'll attack off his back, and well-rounded guy. He's a well-rounded guy, 5-round experience. I will say Guram is probably the best striker Gamrot has ever fought, though. Guram, he's another Georgian entering the UFC here. He's coming out of All-Stars Training Center. He's won 8 fights in a row, and he's a long, rangy, kind of fast twitch, herky-jerky counter-striker. He likes to move around, stay coiled, look for pull counters. He'll blitz in with some straights, really nice head kick. He has a good pull counter straight punches, really nice hook that he landed against Felipe Silva going backwards that put his opponent to sleep, so showed a lot of power. He will counter with high kicks. His striking is wild though, not really refined. Struggles with forward pressure, he's hittable, and I feel like Gamrot's style is going to be an issue for him. But he has 7 knockouts, he's never been finished by strikes. And Kutateladze, not the best grappler. He's gotten better with his takedown defense, and he's dangerous in the clinch. He has big knees, heavy elbows. He still can be taken down, especially against the cage. If he gets taken down by Gamrot, I don't see him getting up. Kutateladze does tend to change it up, grapple in certain fights. In this matchup, I feel like he has to try to keep it on the feet, keep the range, and just look for the knockout. He's been submitted 1 time. His cardio isn't the best. He definitely slows down. Gamrot has to be careful early on here. Don't blitz in or do anything stupid in the first couple minutes. But I think after that, once he gets a couple takedowns, he should really start to pull away. Even on the feet, I think his forward pressure and just his output and just his stinging punches are going to be a lot of trouble for Kutateladze. He's just a bad matchup, man. The forward pressure, the aggressiveness, the grappling, the cardio. I think Gamrot will get a comfortable decision, if not a late round TKO finish here. So give me Mateusz Gamrot to have a dominant debut in the UFC and kind of, live up to the hype here. But we're going to have to see him against some high level competition here. Great fight here, man. If you know anything about my channel, you know that I've been picking James Krause in a lot of these fights when he was a big underdog. I'm a big fan of James Krause. And Claudio Silva, man, he's a guy that's technically undefeated in MMA, 14-1. The 1 loss was a disqualification loss in his debut. He has some pretty big wins. 5-0 in the UFC, beating guys like Leon Edwards, Nordine Taleb, Danny Roberts. So he's fought some good hitters. And James Krause, he's back again on short notice, which has kind of become somewhat of his calling card. He's stepping in here on a couple weeks' notice, and nothing could top his last fight, though. Stepping on 48 hours' notice, up a weight class. Lost a decision in that fight. He snapped that 4-fight winning streak, but going back down to 70, kind of trying to regain a little bit of momentum here. The issue with James Krause that I don't really like about him is he's so invested in coaching now, man. I mean, I feel like I see him every other week at someone's corner, and that's great. He's staying in the game. He's an awesome coach. I can't say anything about it, but I feel like he kind of takes these fights periodically to make some cash and continue to coach, and he's not really like a full-time fighter, man. And it's hard to say that when he's fighting a guy like Claudio Silva, because Claudio Silva is a guy that's been in the company for 6 years. He's only fought 5 times. He's once again coming off a layoff of over a year. 38 years old, so he's getting up there in age, but no one's been able to knock him off yet. And he's an American top team training to fight. He's been calling out fights. I feel like he has more hunger to chase that belt, whereas James Krause, I feel like he's kind of just fighting to take fights, make some money, stay relevant in the game. And so I definitely like Claudio in terms of mindset and I think he's a little bit hungrier and going to be a little bit tougher when the going gets tough in certain aspects, But just looking at the style matchup, to me, James Krause has looked impressive in his UFC run at welterweight, especially with his wins over Sergio Moraes, Warley Alvarez. And when you look at those on paper, you could kind of think that there may be a similar proximity to guys like Claudio Silva, but in my opinion, it's a much different matchup, man. I mean, Warley Alvarez, Sergio Moraes, these are low-volume counter-strikers that will occasionally grapple, but don't really wrestle. They are known for submissions. Obviously, they're high-level black belts, but Claudio Silva, I feel like he's, better, much better with this ground game for MMA. Sergio Moraes was a really good gi jiu-jitsu guy, and obviously you have Warley Alvarez, who's a really nice guillotine, really nice kind of a one-trick pony type of guy, but Claudio Silva, he can wrestle, he's aggressive, he comes forward, tries to take you down, catches kicks, he has really good body locks, really good single leg, he can, sweep you if he gets taken down, he has no problem pulling guard, he's really good in the scrambles, really good guard, so he checks a lot of boxes, man, he's really good everywhere, and on the feet, I mean, he's wild, he holds his hands low, he comes forward, but he throws big punches, really heavy jabs, big straights. He throws a lot of heavy kicks, and he has no fear, man, on the feet. I mean, he'll get hit, he can get rocked, but really durable. I mean, he's never been finished yet. He ate a lot of big shots from Danny Roberts, stayed composed, stayed in the fight, and this guy that only needs 1 second to catch you, submit you, and take you out. But James Krause, I mean, he's a guy that more of a, not a power guy, but he throws a lot of, really nice tight punches, straights down the middle, and he can catch you with good timing and just kind of accurate pinpoint shots and start to take you out, pepper you, and he has really nice knees up the middle, kind of like a more technical Nick Diaz style, but not as much volume and pop type thing. But man, I mean, when you look at his fights against guys that pressure forward like Alex White, like Jesse Taylor, and really are active with the takedowns, one, it takes away a lot of the kicks from James Krause, which he does throw a lot of kicks. Silva catches kicks, he'll take you down. So I don't see Krause trying to throw a lot of kicks, a lot of knees. I mean, he might try to catch some knees and knock you out, and if he lands, but if it doesn't land, Silva's going to be on top of him, and that's going to be an issue. So to me, man, this is the first guy that's going to be actively looking for takedowns on James Krause since he fought Jesse Taylor on The Ultimate Fighter. And Claudio Silva's a guy that's kind of similar to Taylor. I mean, he's not as good of a wrestler. Obviously, Taylor's a beast wrestler, but Claudio's a guy that's very methodical, heavy on top, heavy in half guard, looks for the arm triangle, the head and arm. He'll, wait for you to make a mistake, then take mount, take the back, and once he gets those positions, he's very hard to get off, and he has really good finishing ability, so I think he's going to be the bigger guy in the cage as well. I mean, Krause is going to be the taller, longer guy, but I think Claudio is going to have the weight. If he gets on top of him, I think he's going to really tire Krause out. And give me Claudio Silva here by submission, man. I think he's the underdog, but I feel like he should be a slight favorite in this fight. I feel like he's going to be able to go in there, get it done, first round submission. So give me Claudio Silva here. And up next here we got, oh man, this is a sick fight, man. We got Tomas Almeida returning here. He's going to be taking on Jonathan the Dragon Martinez. He's more of a new school guy, and Tomas was originally scheduled to face Alejandro Perez. He's more of a guy that's going to try to touch and move on you. Now he's facing Jonathan Martinez, a guy that's willing to sit in the middle, throw down, a Mexican warrior. So it's going to be a gangster-ass fight here, man. I mean, you guys must have forgot if you guys are... man, I don't get why the line has shifted so much. I mean, Tomas Almeida making his return here. He's been almost 2 years. He's still a bad dude, man. He's only 29 years old. And his opponent, Jonathan Martinez, he's making a quick turnaround as well. I mean, Martinez is coming off that dismantling of Frankie Saenz. 3rd round knockout with the flying knee. That's the 2nd knee knockout he's gotten in the UFC. He did weigh in at 140 for that fight, so he needs to kind of shape that up a little bit. But besides that, it was an excellent performance. Looking at the matchup, man, I mean, this should be awesome. I mean, a lot of people are buying in on Jonathan Martinez. He has really, really nice kicks. He's a southpaw, and he's really long for the division. But in this fight, he's going to actually be at a 3-inch reach disadvantage here. But he has really nice low calf kicks, really good front kicks to the body, round kicks to the body, to the head. And he's working on his hands. I mean, he's improved his jab, and he'll try to throw a counter right. And he'll try to walk you into counter straights, counter overhands. And his hands look fast versus Yul. He was throwing some nice counter combinations. And he has a good high guard, strong chin. And he's willing to throw down and brawl with you, but he isn't a big, powerful power guy besides the knees. More creative striker. I mean, he will throw some knees, kicks. And the thing is, though, when he fought Andre Sukumtath, Andre was able to just pressure him, get him in the clinch, beat him up, dirty boxing, attack the body, and really just kind of beat him down, really just getting in his face, forward pressure style. And that's Tomas Almeida's style, man. I mean, Tomas Almeida is a guy that comes forward, doesn't throw a lot of jabs, but he starts out throwing a lot of low kicks, it seems like, and then he'll enter into range, throw these heavy hooks, man, throws really crazy combinations. I mean, he'll fire off 5, 6, 7 punches, crazy cardio, man, hits really hard, and he just wants to get in the pocket with you, get in exchanges, and he thinks he's going to win the majority of those exchanges. In the pocket, man, I mean, he's excellent at, rolling, slipping with punches, returning with combinations, really good at moving his head off center line, wall counter punching, and, he throws really good elbows on the inside as well. He'll throw these big elbows that are just a big weapon in his game, and that's something that I feel like Martinez may walk into here. The thing with Almeida, I mean, being in so many exchanges does make you hittable, and he's willing to get hit and continue to punch while he's getting hit clean, so that's how he kind of has shown the ability to kind of, you could say he's a chinny guy, but he was going to war, man, back and forth war with guys like Jimmy Rivera. He was winning the first round against a guy like Rob Font. Jonathan Martinez, I mean, he's doing a good job. He's in there with guys like Frankie Saenz, who's an old wrestler. Pingwan Liu is kind of a low level guy. Even when he fought Andre Ewell, I mean, he did a lot. He did really well. He showed that he's a formidable guy. He's a young guy. He's a good striker. But man, against a guy that's like a god of war like Tomas Almeida, man, I mean, I just see Almeida walking him down like Sukumtath did, getting in his face, beating up the body, getting him in the clinch, dirty boxing, closing that space for the knees, for the kicks to land. In the pocket, I think he's going to be slipping, rolling, returning with shots, and I just see him being in the more dangerous, better guy here. I mean, he's fought much better competition. I think the layoff for a guy like Tomas Almeida is something that could potentially be good for him because he was taking a lot of damage. He took some time off. He's only 29 years old. He's came over to Extreme Couture. He's trained in a lot of places. Been training a lot with Charles do Bronx Oliveira. So I got to go with Tomas Almeida, man. I just think he's going to be the better guy. I still am not ready to bury Tomas yet, so got to go with Almeida here. And I think the line's kind of appetizing now with him at like minus 105. So give me Tomas Almeida for the win. This next fight, we got the light heavyweight fight, Modestas Bukauskas. He's returning, taking on Jimmy Crute. And Bukauskas, he's riding a 7-fight win streak. And former Cage Warriors light heavyweight champion. He's a striker. And wide stance, he tries to fight long, use a lot of ladder movement, jabs, left hooks, good straight right hand, good overhand right. And he likes to land the 1-2, jab, overhand right, kind of pot shot guys from the outside. Good liver kicks, good round kicks to the head, good spinning kicks. But he's one of these guys that he tries to fight like a super athletic guy, super fast guy, but he's not that fast. He holds his hands down, and his style is kind of relying on in and out movement and being quick, but at these higher levels I just don't know if he's going to be successful with that. He will throw some naked kicks, and he did look good against Andreas Michailidis. I mean, on the feet it was kind of fairly close, but at the end of the round when Michailidis went for that takedown, he threw those big elbows, knocked him out, and it was kind of a weird finish, obviously, with it looked to me like Michailidis was fine, man, and he was kind of trying to play it off to the judges or to the ref, like he wanted a disqualification win, and then when he tried to get up, I don't think he knew that the guy opened the door, so he just could try to lean back on the cage, and they ended the fight. But to me, Bukauskas is not a good grappler. He does have those elbows against the cage that he'll throw, the Travis Brown elbows, but he really struggles with that facet of his game, man. Really bad takedown defense. He can be flat-footed, throw a lot of naked kicks. And when you get it on his hips, he gets taken down. That's the bottom line. And his get-ups aren't very good. He has been just dominated in top position in certain fights I've seen. He's able to stay calm, stay cool, and not get finished. But against a guy like Jimmy Crute, I mean, it's going to be another level with someone on the ground. So Jimmy Crute, he's a guy that's decent on the feet, athlete, but he knows what he wants to do. He wants to get it to the ground, finish you there. That's exactly what he showed in his last fight with Mikhail Loksaychuk. He was able to get him down early, often, mat return him, dominated him, broke his will, and then submitted him. And with a guy like Modestas Bukauskas, I'm just not sure he's going to be able to stop the takedown. On the feet, he's obviously going to be live. He's going to be live to hit those elbows, so he's a dangerous guy that could potentially get a finish at any time. But for me, I mean, I got to go with the grappler here. I got to go with Jimmy Crute to get inside, hit takedowns. He's kind of already been at that point that Modestas Bukauskas was at, where he was the young prospect trying to get the win over the vet. Even though Jimmy's only 24 years old, he's already fought some decent high-level opposition in the UFC, like Paul Craig, like Sam Alvey, like Misha Serkunov. So I feel like he has that experience facing these guys that could potentially knock you out. And I think he's going to be able to do what he does, get the fight to the ground, and probably get a submission here, if not a dominant decision win. So give me Jimmy Crute here to get it done. And up next, we got a great fight. We got Jessica Andrade coming back, taking on Katlyn Chookagian. And Andrade, she's going to be coming back from one of the best female fights of all time, man. I mean, that fight with Rose Namajunas, the rematch, that was an awesome fight where, you know, the first couple rounds are fairly close, but I feel like you have to edge him to Rose. And then a huge third round from Jessica Andrade where she literally broke Rose's face, really beat her down. And could have been a 10-8, but she lost the decision there. And now she's moving up to 125. She's going to be taking on Katlyn Chookagian, who bounced back, got a win in her last fight after that loss to Valentina Shevchenko for the title fight. But she's been saying some things that I don't really like, talking about retirement, talking about things like that, which you never like to hear before a fight. But she looked good versus Antonina her last time out, and she has to be motivated here. She's fighting a former UFC champion. She's fighting someone that's a new name in the division coming up, so maybe she kind of feels like she's trying to steal a little bit of her shine and you know, going to show her a little bit something. And it's interesting because Jessica Andrade is coming from 115. Katlyn's fought at 135, but Jessica's fought at 135 too, so Jessica's going to be fighting in 3 divisions. And just looking at the matchup, I mean, we got an 8-inch height advantage for Katlyn Chookagian and 4-inch reach advantage. She's going to try to use all of that. She's going to try to do her thing, man. Throw the straight punches, throw those kicks, attack the air, use her noises, man, and win a decision. She's not going to be in here trying to grapple like she did in her last fight with Antonina Shevchenko. She's going to be trying to keep the range, you know, walk Jessica into teeps, into straights, into jabs, keep the numbers high. When they get in the clinch, Katlyn has to try to attack with knees, with the elbows, because Jessica Andrade, if there's one place where you could touch her, it's obviously as she's trying to come inside, but also in the clinch, man. She's gotten hurt with knees against Rose Namajunas in the clinch. She got finished in the clinch against Weili Zhang. And Jessica Andrade is coming in here off a 2-fight losing streak, so you have to question her confidence a little bit, but I do feel like coming off that last fight with Rose, she has to be confident. It was a fun back and forth war. And Rose and Weili, man, they're just much more dangerous in my opinion, even though they're smaller than Katlyn. Jessica, I don't think has to worry about that huge one-shot power like she did against girls like Rose and Weili Zhang. I mean, Rose, she's not a big girl, but she's knocked out girls like Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and obviously we all know the power of Weili Zhang. Katlyn Chookagian, she's only finished people with knees, never finished girls with punches, doesn't really even attack like that to get finishes. So Andrade, she's going to be trying to be the bully here, coming forward. You know, the head movement that she used in that fight with Rose Namajunas, I think she's going to need to bring it back here, get on the inside, attack the body, come up to the head, work body locks, work takedowns. And that's, I think, what the game plan for Jessica Andrade is going to be. I mean, we've seen Katlyn Chookagian struggle with that forward pressure, Mike Tyson type style when she fought Jessica Eye. And Jessica Andrade is a girl that I think is more athletic, is going to be able to close that gap and hits harder than a girl like Jessica Eye. And Jessica Andrade is also a great grappler. I think that the takedowns are going to be a big factor in this fight. Katlyn Chookagian, to me, isn't the best defensive wrestler. I feel like Jessica Andrade is going to be able to get inside, get in that clinch, take her down really whenever she wants. And at that point, it's going to come down to Katlyn Chookagian's guard, because I do respect Katlyn's guard. I mean, Valentina made her look bad on the ground, but she has a good armbar. She's trained under John Danaher. So Jessica Andrade, who has been submitted a few times, definitely has to be weary, has to be turned on, and have that submission defense on point when she's facing a girl like Katlyn Chookagian if she's on top. But we've seen Jessica Andrade bully girls on top, really beat them down with ground and pound, beat them up, guillotine girls like Joanne Calderwood. So I feel like Jessica Andrade on the ground is going to have an advantage, especially if she can land some slams, take some steam out of Katlyn, maybe land in side control. On the feet, I just think she's going to be throwing heat, coming forward, landing the bigger shots, throwing more volume. And I think that the judges are going to see that, even though Katlyn's going to be trying to throw out the air. And actually, I mean, the volume comment, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe Katlyn will outnumber strikes thrown, but I think Jessica will land more. So I just feel like Jessica Andrade is a little bit better than Katlyn. I think she's hungry. I think she's not the one talking about retirement, things like that. And I got to go with the Andrade here. I think she's actually going to get it done inside the distance by TKO. And in the co-main event here, we got a heavyweight fight with Gane taking on Delija. And, you know, it's red-hot prospect Gane. He's entered the UFC with a lot of hype, and he hasn't disappointed. He's dominated all his opponents. He's 3-0. It's going to be the first fight of the year for Gane, and I'm sure he's ready to showcase his skills here. He's going to be fighting Delija, who's going to be making his UFC debut, so I'm sure he wants to dominate him. And Gane is not your typical heavyweight, man. I mean, excellent movement, switches stances, very fast, very fluid, hands-down style, but he's bouncing in and out, very hard to hit, great eyes, 6'5", 83-inch reach, so he can keep you at range, uses his reach very well. Really good jab. He'll snap the head back of his opponents with the jab. He comes very fast. He'll follow the jabs with straights. He attacks the body well. He'll switch stances, and he can jab to the head, to the body with both arms. And he slips punches effortlessly. So he has really good slipping and ripping ability. I've seen him throw some really nasty left hooks, right uppercut combinations, hard low kicks, hard oblique kicks. He'll throw some body kicks, some head kicks, but mostly a puncher. I mean, you also throw some really nasty front knees. And when he gets opponents moving backwards, he will mix in some spinning kicks, spinning back fists. He'll throw some flying knees. And, he gets creative. I mean, when guys get backed up against the cage, I've seen him throw some double punches, spinning back fists, flying knees. So he'll throw some crazy techniques. He has 3 knockouts. And I haven't seen Gane tagged or really how he reacts to getting hit hard, but, he hits very hard himself and very hard to hit, so he's a tough guy to nail down. He has earned a submission in 2 of his first 3 UFC fights, and he's taller than most of his opponents, so in the clinch he will get the Muay Thai plum, and he'll get double underhooks as well, and he's pretty good there, good control. He was able to get double underhooks to control Rafael Pessoa against the cage, took him down with the body lock, submitted him. He'll also catch kicks and get takedowns that way. And he's very aggressive with ground and pound. He has good front chokes. He even hit a heel hook against Dontel Mays. And it looks like he has good cardio and doesn't really gas out. He's very fluid. Doesn't look like he wastes a lot of energy and looks very calm in there. So he's always in his comfort zone, ready to go. But Delija, he's 17-3. He's fought a lot of pretty big names. He's won 3 fights in a row since returning in 2018 and had a 3-year layoff after the leg break injury against Marcin Tybura. He returned at Rise 10 and he's defeated some notable names, but fighters who were kind of at the end of their career. Delija looks like a well-rounded guy. He's 6'5", and he uses his length on the feet as well. He feints himself into range, and he lets go with some nice long straights down the middle, nice uppercut. He likes to pull counter with the 2, and he throws some heavy kicks, but isn't super active. He will throw some low kicks, some front kicks to the body. He has some good blitzes, and he's pretty quick and explosive. And he has fast hands, but he's a bit vulnerable, stiff in exchanges. I think he's going to be a little bit hesitant in exchange with a guy like Gane, who's so fluid. He does have 7 knockouts, and he's never been finished by strikes. I will say, looking at his record, I mean, he's fought a lot of slower order guys. And In his fight with Delija, he did break his leg, or with Marcin Tybura, he did break his leg while throwing a kick. So, but Delija, he's a grinder. He does use his striking to back fighters up and take them down, and he has good timing on his shots, good takedowns in the clinch, and he can be aggressive on top. He'll let go with big ground and pound. He has a pretty good submission game. He'll take the back, good rear naked choke, good guillotine, and he likes to use the guillotine to force fighters to their back when they shoot in on him. When he gets taken down, though, he looks weak off his back. He's gotten dominated a couple times, and I've seen him submitted via Kimura twice. Delija does have 7 submissions in his career, but I got to go with Gane here. He's much less stiff. He's going to be able to move around, avoid the blitzes, and outstrike him easily. If he can get on top of Delija, I could see him getting a submission as well. I don't know if Gane's, minus 600 price tag is warranted, but I feel like he should definitely get the win here. So give me Gane to get another win and go to 7-0. And in the main event, the grudge match is finally upon us, man. This fight's been brewing for a long time. Korean Zombie is never in a boring fight, and I don't expect that to change here. I mean, the all-action legend has looked great in his last 2 fights. He knocked out Renato Moicano and Frankie Edgar in the first round. And this fight has a little bit of juice to it with the whole thing with Jay Park, and they've been talking shit back and forth. So hopefully there's no big emotions for Zombie here, but Brian Ortega is making his highly anticipated return to the octagon. It's been nearly 2 years since his failed title bait against Max Holloway, and it seems like his team is kind of keen on this matchup with Korean Zombie. They've tried to make it quite a few times. Henner has trained with Zombie, so maybe he knows something that we don't, but unfortunately for Henner, he cannot be in the corner due to COVID, so nonetheless, this is going to be the first time Ortega's entering a fight off a loss. First time he's fighting in nearly 2 years, so a lot of question marks with Ortega, but make no mistake about it, man. These dudes are going to go to war. Both guys are predominantly boxers. On the feet, they both like to pressure. Korean Zombie is kind of short at 5'7", but he has really long arms. He's actually going to have a 3-inch reach advantage in this matchup. He uses his reach well, and he likes to walk fighters down, hands low. He invites them to throw at him so he can counter. He'll stand flat-footed right in front of opponents with his hands down. He's just coiled and waiting to explode and enter range with the big counter punches. He closes the cap very quickly, and he's dangerous with the blitzes, man. He has a really nice jab. He'll use the jab to close the distance to a straight right or rear uppercut. His uppercut has a lot of pop. He showed that in that fight with Dennis Bermudez. And Zombie's really good at slipping and returning with shots. He slipped the jab of Renato Moicano, came back with the ruthless overhand right-left hook combination that floored him. Landed a really nice short left hook that rocked Frankie Edgar, and then several other well-timed counters. Eventually finished him off. And Zombie isn't much of a kicker, but he's shown some really fast leg kicks, really good body kicks. And, Ortega's been kind of susceptible to low kicks in the past. Zombie's just extremely dangerous in that first round as well. 4 of his 6 wins are via first round knockout, including his last 3 in a row. As far as the grappling goes, Korean Zombie is a great grappler. He obviously has hit that Dars on Poirier. He's hit some twisters before, but he's not on the level of Brian Ortega. We've seen him taken down and mounted by Jose Aldo, so definitely he's going to want to keep the range, keep it on the feet, look to counter-strike, attack the legs, and kind of just beat up T-City and try to take him out with his big power. Just, he can't get emotional here, man, because T-City, man, if he was given the choice, he would just want to stay in the pocket the whole fight and just throw down. Ortega, he kind of, his defense is not very good, but he's just willing to sit in the pocket, trade shots. He's good at hand fighting and then firing off big shots, big jabs, big elbows, big straights. He attacks the body as well. He has a good left hook to the body to an overhand right. He's gotten a little bit better with his jab, with his low kicks, and he's definitely improved his distance control. But he's just a guy that wants to get in there, man, get in your face, throw some big straights, big hooks, big uppercuts, and try to take you out. But at range, he just showed that he's just not that good, man. He gets hit with big, long combinations. We saw that against Max Holloway, against Renato Moicano, and he's just willing to eat it. I mean, he has some insane durability, and that's going to be what I'm talking about in terms of Korean Zombie can't get emotional here, man. He can't start trading in the pocket with a guy like Ortega. He can't throw off a ton of volume early in the fight trying to take him out and get tired in the later rounds, because Ortega's a guy that's going to keep coming forward, keep trying to hand fight parry, get on the inside, counter strike, land some big shots, big elbows, hurt you, grab the neck from standing. And if he gets this fight to the ground, he's going to have a big advantage, and he's going to have the ability to hit a submission, man. I mean, we've seen him hit front chokes, drag guys to the ground, jump on the back. We've seen him hit flying triangles, flying guillotines. So you're going to have to be turned on the entire fight against a guy like T-City, always ready to go. And T-City, he's improved his takedowns a little bit. I mean, he does use his strikes to set up his takedowns a little bit more than he used to, but doesn't really look to wrestle offensively. And in this fight, I just feel like that's going to be the issue with the fight, because Ortega is still a guy that's not really the best boxer. He hasn't been fighting guys that can make him pay. I mean, Korean Zombie is going to be hitting really hard, countering him. And like I said, for me, this is Korean Zombie's fight to lose. If he just stays on the outside, counters, keeps Ortega at bay, throws kicks, doesn't get emotional, doesn't trade, doesn't brawl, doesn't get it the fight in the clinch, doesn't get it on the ground, he's going to run away with it, dominate, maybe even get a late finish or win a decision, because Ortega's just so fucking tough. But this fight's kind of hard to call as well, because Ortega's been gone almost 2 years. Who knows what he's been doing? Maybe he's been working wrestling this whole time, going to come in with a different game plan. Maybe he's shaped up his boxing, but it's going to be a big task for him to come in here off a long layoff and take out a guy like Zombie. I do feel as the fight goes on, he's going to have a little bit of an advantage with the cardio, and maybe he could start to wear on Zombie, put on some damage as the rounds go on. But I think that Zombie, I mean, he's someone that's super dangerous early. I think that he's definitely going to put on a lot of damage on Ortega. And if he doesn't finish him, I think Ortega may be a little bit compromised in these later rounds. And I just feel like as long as Zombie doesn't get emotional and brawl with them or get caught in a submission, he's going to win. So I'm going to pick Korean Zombie by decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got a late TKO finish either. But this is a weird fight because there's a lot of emotions in this fight. Ortega's come back off a layoff. This is the first loss of his career, so I'm sure he's motivated. And he could come in here looking improved. So for me, I maybe would stay away from this fight. I know a lot of people are really high on Korean Zombie. And if you really have a big lean towards him, maybe just go with it. But for me, I am going to pick Korean Zombie to win a decision here, but it's not one of my more confident picks on the card. So there you have it, guys. There's the breakdown for UFC Fight Island 6, Brian Ortega versus Korean Zombie. And for the parlay of the week, it's going to be Mateusz Gamrot, Maxim Grishin, and Ciryl Gane. So there you have it. That's going to be the parlay of the week for this week. My most confident pick, I would say, is Ciryl Gane here. For the underdog of the week, it's going to be Claudio Silva. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to, like I said, leave a comment down below. Drop a like down below. Thanks for always watching. Thanks for supporting the channel, and I'll talk to you guys soon.